The night my ex-wife signed the final divorce papers, the house felt like it exhaled me out of it. I remember standing in the kitchen, staring at 2 coffee mugs that hadn't been moved in weeks. One was mine. The other used to be hers. I didn't throw it away. I didn't pack it either. I just left it there. Like maybe some part of me was still waiting for a version of life that wasn't coming back. My name is Marcus, and I thought I'd already hit the lowest point of my life. I was wrong. It was just past midnight when someone knocked on my door. Not a polite knock. Not hesitant, urgent, repeated. The kind of knocking that makes your chest tighten before your mind catches up. I wasn't expecting anyone. I wasn't expecting anything anymore. I opened the door, and for a moment I genuinely thought I was imagining things. Lena stood there, my ex-wife's younger sister. Her hair was damp like she'd been caught in the rain, her breathing uneven, her eyes wide but focused. She wasn't dressed for a visit. She looked like someone who had run out of time. "Marcus," she said, her voice low but steady. "I need you to marry me." If you think there's a right way to respond to that, there isn't. I just stared at her. Of all the things I expected to hear after my divorce, that wasn't even on the list. "What?" I finally said. "I'm serious," she added quickly, stepping inside before I could even decide whether to invite her. "I don't have time to explain everything right now, but I need you to trust me." Trust. That word hit differently coming from her. Lena had always been different. Quieter than my ex, more observant. The kind of person who noticed things you didn't say. During my marriage, she was always respectful, always distant in a careful way. But there were moments, small ones, where I felt like she understood me better than her sister ever did. "Still this, Lena," I said, trying to keep my voice grounded. "You just walked into my house after midnight and asked me to marry you. I need more than trust me." She swallowed hard, her hands trembling just enough to give away how serious this was. "They're trying to force me into a marriage," she said. I blinked. "What?" "My father, and some people he owes money to. It's not just about family anymore. It's about debt control." Her voice cracked slightly. "If I don't marry the man they've chosen by tomorrow, things are going to get worse. Not just for me." There was something in her eyes that made it impossible to dismiss her as dramatic. "Why me?" I asked. That was the real question. Out of everyone she could have run to, why me? She looked at me like she'd been holding that answer for a long time. "Because you're the only person I trust who won't use me," she said. "And because you know what it feels like to be trapped in something you didn't choose." That hit deeper than I expected. I leaned back against the counter, trying to process the weight of everything she was saying. "This is insane," I muttered. "I know," she whispered. Silence stretched between us, thick and uncomfortable. I should have said no. Any rational person would have. But life doesn't always break you in rational ways. "Is this legal?" I asked. "Yes." "Is it safe?" She hesitated. "No." I let out a slow breath. "Of course it wasn't." "Marcus," she said, stepping closer now, her voice softer but more urgent. "I'm not asking you to love me. I'm not asking for anything beyond your name. Just help me get out of this. And I swear I'll disappear from your life if that's what you want." Disappear. Funny how the people who offer to leave are usually the ones who change everything. I looked at her again, really looked this time. She wasn't just scared. She was determined. And something in me, something that had been quiet for months, started to move. "Okay," I said. Her eyes widened. "Okay?" "Yeah," I repeated, my voice steadier than I felt. "We'll get married." I don't think either of us fully understood what we had just agreed to. By morning, everything had changed. We drove to a small courthouse just outside the city. No witnesses except a tired clerk who didn't ask questions. No family, no celebration, just signatures, just a decision that would tie our lives together in a way neither of us could undo easily. When it was over, Lena sat in the passenger seat of my car, staring at her hands. "You saved me," she said quietly. I shook my head. "Let's not call it that yet." Because something didn't sit right. Her story made sense, but it felt incomplete. And I've learned the hard way that incomplete truths are usually the most dangerous kind. For a few days, things were calm, too calm. Lena stayed in the guest room. We barely spoke beyond what was necessary. It felt like we were both pretending this was temporary, like the reality of what we'd done hadn't caught up yet. Then 3 nights later, everything unraveled. I came home to find the front door slightly open. My stomach dropped. Lena? I called. Out. No answer. I stepped inside carefully, every instinct telling me something was wrong. The living room was untouched, but the hallway light was on, and at the end of it, voices, male voices. I moved closer, slow and silent, until I could hear clearly. She thought she could just disappear, one of them said. Another voice laughed. Doesn't matter. Marriage doesn't mean anything to us. My chest tightened. They were here for her. I stepped into the hallway. Get out of my house, I said. 3 men turned to look at me. None of them looked surprised. You must be the husband, one of them said, stepping forward with a smirk. That was a bold move. Where is she? I demanded. He tilted his head slightly. Safe for now. Something snapped inside me. You don't get to walk in here and threaten my wife, I said, the word feeling strange and real at the same time. His smile faded just a little. This isn't about you, Marcus, he said. It's about debts that need to be paid. I don't care, I shot back. She's not part of your deal anymore. For a moment, no one moved. Then he stepped closer. You really don't understand what you've gotten into, do you? Maybe I didn't, but I knew one thing. I wasn't walking away. Try me, I said. That was the moment everything changed. Because what I thought was a desperate act to help someone turned into a fight I wasn't prepared for, and a truth I never saw coming. Later that night, I found Lena. Shaken, hiding, but alive. And when she finally looked at me, really looked at me, she said something that made everything else fade away. I didn't just choose you because I trusted you, she whispered. Then why, I asked. Her eyes filled with something deeper than fear. Because I've loved you for years. Somewhere between the silence and the chaos, my world shifted again, and for the first time since my divorce, I realized this wasn't just about saving her. It was about finding something I didn't know I had lost.